welcome back to a brand new video today, ladies and gentlemen. Today, on today's agenda, we have a question that some of you seem to not understand quite fully. So, let's get into the point of what this question is. And the question is it legal for natives to go on private land that is on private territory? Let's get into it and figure out the logical explanation. So, ladies and gentlemen, most of you keep asking, is it legal for natives to go on private land? The simple answer to that is, ladies and gentlemen, generally natives, like any other individuals, are subject to the same laws regarding private property as a non-Native American, and cannot enter private land without permission regardless of their tribal affiliation. And for you that are asking, well, what does that mean? Well, ladies and gentlemen, here is a more detailed breakdown of what exactly that means. The general rule, ladies and gentlemen, is the principle of respecting private property rights applies equally to all individuals, including Native Americans. No special rights. Native Americans do not have inherent rights to enter private property without permission, even if they are members of a federally recognized federally recognized land as excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, even if they're members of a federally recognized tribal reservation. Or, excuse me, tribe. Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to get into private land versus tribal land. Let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, private land versus tribal land. This principle, ladies and gentlemen, applies specifically to private land. not to tribal lands or lands held in trust by the federal government for Native Americans. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into tribal authority. Ladies and gentlemen, tribal authority. Tribes generally do not have authority over non-Indians on land owned in fees simply by non-native or Indians, even within reservation boundaries. Trespass laws. Ladies and gentlemen, trespassing on private land, whether by a Native American or a non-Native American, is a violation of law and can lead to legal consequences. Ladies and gentlemen, expectations. There may be specific circumstances or agreements that grant certain individuals, including Native Americans, access to private land, but there would need to be they would need to be based on specific agreements or legal rights. Tribal eminent domain. In some instances, ladies and gentlemen, Native American tribes may exercise their inherent sovereign powers of eminent domain to take private property, but this is a specific legal process with requirements for just compensation. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to get into the right-of-way. Ladies and gentlemen, the right-of-way. The federal government has a fiduciary to protect, responsibility to protect and conserve resources on trust and restricted land, and the right-of-way process helps regulate the appropriate use and development of native lands. Ladies and gentlemen, I do hope you did enjoy this brand new video. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them below, and I'll try my best to answer them the best I can, ladies and gentlemen. If you did enjoy this video, please make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. If you want to make sure you never miss a brand new video, please hit the bell icon that is right next to the subscribe button down below on the right hand side. And click the all icons instead of the personalized icon. That way you make sure you're notified of every single breaking legal analysis video that I post onto the channel. Another way you guys can stay up to date on when I post onto the channel a brand new video is by following me on my social medias that I'll have linked down below in the video description below. Lastly, ladies and gentlemen, please help me reach and achieve the goal of 150 plus subscribers. The reason why I'm saying 150 plus subscribers is because right after we reach and achieve the goal of 150 subscribers, we have more subscribers to reach after we reach and achieve the goal of 150 subscribers. Until my next reporting, ladies and gentlemen, please stay positive, stay safe, and know that justice will prevail on the correct side of the law. Despite Donald Trump and his illegal administration's illegal, unconstitutional efforts and executive actions.